Loving Sai Ram, Brother Bishu Prusty. The Sri Satya Sai Global Council of Trinidad and Tobago lovingly welcomes you to the series, Awake, Unite and Inspire. We are extremely grateful, blessed, and honored to have you as our guest on this evening's program. And we know this can only happen through the grace, the blessings, and the will of our beloved Mother Sai. So, Brother Bishu, share with us, how did you first come into contact with our beloved Mother Sai?
Om Shri Sai Ram. Thank you so much, Brother Faiz. I remember doing an interview with you many years ago in the studios of the Media Center, and it's really such a heartening feeling connecting with you again. And definitely it is so much joy sharing the vibes from Prashanti. The Chinese New Year celebrations is just going on now, in the mandir. It just concluded, and Prashanti is so overflowing with people. Every day, it's almost the main road is full. It was, and even if there is no festival day, you would find Sai Kulwant Hall overflowing with people. So, so happy to share this beautiful joy of Prashanti, from Prashanti, to everyone there. And it's my blessing. It's such a blessed opportunity to be able to share a few of the beautiful slices of my life, which he has touched. He has buttered them. He has sweetened them. And he has recreated them to nourish me, to bolster me, and to make me what I am today. Let me begin by offering my salutations to Bhagwan. And what better way to do it than by doing what Swami loves the most. Pranam svikar karo Sai Mahadeva. प्रणाम स्वीकार करो साई महादेवा साई महादेवा साई महादेवा साई महादेवा Sai Mahadeva. Pranam svikar karo Sai Mahadeva. Urging, praying, pleading with Swami. Oh Swami, accept my salutations, accept my pranams, accept my obeisances, accept my surrender, accept me being a part of you, accept me, make me like you. That is the most beautiful sentiment that this bhajan brings forth from within me as I sing. And Brother Faiz asked about how I came to Bhagwan's fold. I was lucky to be born in a family which was already into loving Bhagwan. Swami had already become the shrine, main deity of our altar by the time I started realizing and recognizing and asking questions as a little one. And Love for Swami, that's why was very natural, because I saw how my parents were so deeply devoted. And why my parents were so deeply devoted has a story. And I thought maybe I should quickly narrate that. It just goes to show the enigmatic ways by Bhagwan, how he pulls all of us. So it goes back to 77, 78. My father was working as a civil engineer in Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. And it was a small town in the state of Odisha. And he had a friend who one day told him, "Have you heard of Sai Baba?" And my father said, "I have not heard of him. And please excuse me, I am not interested also, because I don't like to go to any guru or any other god, because for me, my God is Lord Venkateshwara." Like most families in South India, Venkateshwara is the main deity, and every ceremony in the house is attached to visiting the Lord at Tirupati. And that is how it was in our home too. And my father was very, very deeply devoted to his mother, my grandmother. And because for my grandmother, Lord Venkateshwara was everything. So that is all it was for my father too. There was no world beyond what my grandmother uh, said. Whatever my grandmother said was law for my dad. That's how he was. He was very devoted to his mother. And so he did not really pay much attention to what his friend, Mr. Vishwanath Pradhan, told him. All the same, this friend was a very dear friend. During his engineering days, it was this friend who had been with him, who had supported him in any number of ways. This friend came from a very resourceful family, and he had enough time and enough money to splurge in entertainment. And so he was someone who was not interested in studies, but had a very vagabond life. But at the same time, he loved my father, because my father was very sincere, and he came from a very, very humble background. And for some reason, he had great affection for my father. And so he was the one who supplied books for my father, during his engineering days. So whatever resources my father needed, he was the one, who would say, I'll buy the book, you study, you just during the final exams, just one day before the exam, I will come to you, you tell me what to read, and that's enough for me. If I pass, it's enough for me. You get your ranks, I'm not interested. So my father was a rank holder, but he always, that's how had a great respect and very grateful to Mr. Pradhan. And it so happened that after the engineering also, they started working in factories and companies which are very close to each other. So when this friend, made this request, though my father did not immediately respond in affirmative, but still he kept the photograph of Bhagwan that Mr. Pradhan had given, though it had not become part of our altar. But it was during that time, there were all these miracles happening, vibhuti coming out of somebody's photograph in our township, and there's amrit, the nectar coming out. And my mother also very, very simple and very innocent and very religious woman, so who would take to devotion very easily. And so she would go for these bhajans. The ladies used to have bhajans in the afternoons, etc. So while she was doing that, there was this news in the Sai groups there, that some people from the township, are going on a South India tour, and they will be visiting Puttaparthi too after Tirupati. And somehow that sort of stayed in my father's mind. He thought maybe it's interesting, Pradhan also had talked about Puttaparthi and Sai Baba. Maybe I should go and just check it out. Anyway, it's a good way to go on a vacation, to go to all these religious places, Rameshwaram, Kanchipuram, and all that. Go to Tirupati and maybe also go to Puttaparthi. So he decided to join that group, and it so happened that he landed in Puttaparthi on the last day of Dasara. It was a Vijayadashami day, and Puttaparthi was crowded. It was the year 1979, and we know how during Dasara you have the Yagnam going on, and so since it was the Purnahuti day, there were surging crowds, and my father could not enter the Purnachandra auditorium. It is extremely difficult. And my father is also of my height, very short person. And so he was finding his way out to somehow enter the auditorium. If he sat anywhere, he could not see. If he stood, then people behind complained. So finally what he did was, somehow he managed to sneak into the auditorium, and he went and stood right at the end of the hall, so that his back is against the wall, so that he does not become an impediment to anybody else's vision if he stands. And that's how he stood there, and he was watching this Dasara Yagnam going on. And it was the final moment arrived, and Bhagwan went in front of the Yagnashala, the sacred fire. And we all know how Bhagwan, in the last moment, he waves his hand and he pours himself, makes oblations to the sacred fire. So we would see how Navaratnas, all the jewels, precious diamonds and rubies, all would fall from Bhagwan's hand in a shower onto the sacrificial fire, and there would be yellow rice and so many things would be poured. And he saw all that happening, and after the Yagnam reached its crescendo, and after Swami had poured everything, and the Purnahuti was done, then he saw Swami raising his hands, and Swami was blessing everyone. He was raising both his hands, and he was turning and he was blessing the devotees on both the sides. And as Swami was doing this, Father was absolutely stunned, because he saw that as Swami raised his hand, it was the hand, but after some time, it was no more the two hands of that beautiful orange robe. The two hands next to the crown of hair were no more hands. He saw that the both hands had completely changed into a different scene. He saw that he was seeing the different avatars of Mahavishnu. He was seeing the Matsya avatar, Kurma avatar, Vamana avatar, Rama, Krishna, Shiva, every god that he has worshipped, Venkateshwara. He was seeing all the gods. As Swami was blessing, it was like all the gods were blessing him. Vishwarupa tumaho, Vishwarupa tumaho, Sai Vishwarupa tumaho. That vision of Bhagwan was the turning point, to say the least. As he was watching that, he was so transfixed to the spot, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. So he asked the person next to him, "What are you seeing?" And that person said, I'm seeing the two hands. And he felt it was a special blessing conferred by Bhagwan to him. And immediately after that event, he went to my mom and he said, "I have found my God. There is no need for us to go anywhere from now on. I am completely fulfilled. There is nothing left for us to achieve. For me, he is everything. From today, we will not go to any other shrine." And that is how, when he returned from that trip to my little town called Sunabeda in Odisha. He had bought all the books that were available in the book trust at that time. He had brought big photographs of Bhagwan. Swami became the center of our home, center of our hearts, center of our lives. And there was no looking back after that. When the sun touches you, when the sun rays caress you, you feel warm, you feel bright, you have found light, you feel beautiful, you feel cozy, you feel warm. But when the divine touches you, you not only feel warm and cozy and happy and light and bright and beautiful, but also completely full, completely complete. You feel enlightened because there is no more emptiness outside you, around you, within you. There is no more confusions, doubt, darkness outside you, inside you, deep inside you. Something within says, this is it. I know it. I am full. I have arrived. And I think that was my father's moment. And his conviction and faith in Bhagwan was so deep. There was no way that would not get rubbed into all of our lives in the family. And I remember as a child, if anyone mocked me also because I was wearing vibhuti, I would still stand up. When I used to go to school in those days, if I put vibhuti and went to school, I would be ridiculed by my friends. I remember a teacher, making fun of me, asking, what are you putting all this nonsense stuff? But just like for my father, his mom was everything. As a child, for me, my parents also were everything. So there was this faith that Swami is God, Swami is divine, right from my childhood. So that is how I got sort of introduced into Bhagwan. So to answer your question about how I entered, how Bhagwan entered my life, so it was Swami who so beautifully had already created the pathway before I was born, so that perhaps no time is lost for me to get into loving him, knowing him, and cherishing him in my life. I think that answers the first question.
Brother Bishu, that was so inspiring. And the way you began your talk with those beautiful chants, it reminded me so much of sitting in the Kulwan Hall for evening bhajans and listening to the students glorify the Lord. So blissful, so touching. And you so beautifully described the effect of Swami on our lives. And what an experience your father had with that beautiful darshan of Swami's hands. While you are talking, it's bringing back all the beautiful divine memories of Prashanti. So thank you for that very beautiful, beautiful introduction, your sharing, and your very soulful singing. So, Brother Bishu, can you share? And you have basically, as you said, born into the Sai family through your parents. So you have been exposed to him since very birth. You've been in Prashanti Nilayam for so many years, and that close proximity to his physical form. And I've had so many divine interactions with him. But can you share 3 of your most memorable experiences you've had with Mother Sai.
Yeah, as you say, I mean, as you said, living with the Lord, living with the avatar every day is beautiful. And the reason I always pray to Swami also that I should have the opportunity to stay back in Prashanti and serve right from the time I joined his school in 11th class was the only prayer. Because I used to always feel that all the wealth in the world will not be able to give me even one day with the avatar. One day with the avatar gone is gone. And everything in life can be postponed. Everything can be enjoyed later. Everything can be experienced later. But if you miss the moment with the avatar, you cannot get it back. And somehow that was a very overriding thought. And thanks to him, he still kept me here. 3 cherishable moments. So let me take you to something that happened when I became a student, my formative years of being a student, so to speak. I joined for my 11th class. And just like every student who joins the hostel, what you want when the avatar is there is closeness with him. What you want is that proximity with him. And you just constantly are thinking, what can I do so that I also can become close to him? This is a different setup. This is not like any other hostel. This is not like any other institution, where you want to be the rank holder, or you want to be the number one in sports, you want to be the number one in music, or you want to be the number one in acting, you want to be the number one in athletics, you want to be the number one in IQ. All that means nothing if ultimately Swami does not talk to you. If Swami does not look at you, you might be the one who is holding the rank of being the best athlete, but still you're a nobody. But if you're lowest in the class, if you are terrible also as a musician, if you come last in the competition, in elocution competition, but if Swami that evening calls and speaks to you, you are the hero. You are everything there. Everybody wants to talk to you. You are quote unquote the celebrity as a student. You want to be the hero. You want to be to do something. And I just realized that nothing matters. What matters is Swami should talk to you. If Swami gives you attention, then you are the hero. If Swami does not look at you, Swami does not talk to you, no matter what you do, your existence has no meaning. So as a student, I have to think, what should I do? What should I do? So let me be very honest. At that time, obviously I was not seeking anything great, anything higher life, higher thinking. I want, uh, shanti, peace, nothing you are thinking. As a student, you're just thinking, I want that attention. I want, I also want to be something. I want to make something out of myself. I also want to, achieve, and I want to be the hero. I want to be the star. I mean, that was all a student, probably in the hostel when you're there, you want to be. And so that was also my limited thinking at that point in time. And I was constantly thinking what to do. And I just saw that, uh, when and how Swami will talk to you, there is absolutely no method. There is no one way. There is no formula for it. You don't know whom Swami will talk to, whom Swami does not talk to, and how to get there. How to be the form boy, as used to in the hostel parlance, it used to be called. And and uh, and I was seeing the guy Swami was talking to, and I said, okay, oh, this guy, oh, he looks handsome, maybe that's why Swami is talking to him. Okay, this guy, oh, this guy, he's the grandson of Jogarao. He's that engineer who worked for Swami. Oh, so that's why Swami is talking to him. Okay, this guy, Oh, he comes from a very, very wealthy family. Oh, that's why Swami talks to him. Okay. This guy, no, he can speak, he can sing well. That's why Swami talks to him. Okay. So, you're constantly trying to put some in your own mind, trying to see what is the pathway. Is there a method to this? And every day you get puzzled and you're not able to see, what is the common thing, what is the common denominator, how to achieve this. Oh, is it because Swami, will speak to someone who is very disciplined? No, but this guy in my mind is a rogue. Swami talks to him. He is in the darshan time. Swami talks to him. Swami calls him for the interview, and after that, after the interview, he comes out, and this guy is making fun of teachers, and he's doing all this indiscipline. But Swami talks to him. So what is the point of being good? It's not that Swami will talk to good fellows. I am being good. He's not talking to me. And if he wants to talk to handsome people, I'm not handsome. So he's never going to talk to me. I don't have a grandfather who worked for Swami. So he's not going to talk to me. And if he doesn't talk to me, that's it. My existence here has no meaning. I'll just be some stone here and I will just finish my education and go. All these thoughts it may sound ridiculous, but at that time, that is what was going on. And so constantly I was thinking how to get close to him, how to get his attention. And so there are so many avenues if you look through. So if you learn to chant Vedam, then there could be an opportunity where you can go to Swami, because during festivals, you can go. In those days, Vedam chanting was not everyday routine, but on festival days, you could go to Swami and Swami would give you the chance to touch his feet, and there could be opportunity that he can talk to you. Or, if you are very good in art, there could be a chance that, you can offer something to Swami, a painting to Swami. Maybe Swami will take and sign on that. Or if you're an athlete, then chances are there, but very rare. Only during the sports meet, you'll get little opportunity to go to Swami. And if if you are good in academics, okay, maybe when the results are announced, that time maybe Swami will think of you, and and maybe you will get a chance. But otherwise, the rest of the year, you're a nobody. So as I was thinking, I thought the only group which gets attention from Swami all the time is the bhajan group. Once you're in the bhajan group, you are always in the front, no matter what the occasion, whether it is the daily morning bhajans, evening bhajans, or whether there's an inauguration. Swami is going to the hospital to open a department. Swami is going to Harshi. Swami is going to a different place. Bhajans are always with him. He goes to Kodaikanal. There is a chance bhajan boys will go to Kodaikanal. So if you are a bhajan boy, then there is an opportunity that you will always be close to Swami. And if you're all the time close to Swami, maybe there'll be more opportunities, of him talking to you. And you are someone. You're not a nobody if you are in the bhajan group. So I was thinking, I used to do a little bit of singing. I was pathetic. Not that I'm anything good now, but that time I was absolutely horrible. I didn't just that I didn't know that. I thought I can sing, because in my samitis I used to sing and people used to laud my singing. So I thought, I'm a good singer, and I thought, yeah, I think that's what I should do. I should just get into the bhajan group and I should start singing, and then that would be my way of establishing and letting the world know that I have arrived. So all those things. So I tried, in those days, no auditions, nothing for bhajans. If you want to sing, there's only one route. Go and ask Swami. That's it. If Swami gives permission, nobody can stop you. And even if everybody wants you to sing, if Swami doesn't like you, quote unquote, if Swami is not happy with your singing, you will never get a chance. You might be the best of singers. So I thought, okay, so the only thing you have to do is, somehow get into bhajan group, get from Swami the permission to become part of bhajan group. And so I started my prayers, praying for the chance to sing. And one most, very beautiful thing about the hostel again is, to me, it is like Brindavan, the Brindavan of yore. Because whatever you do, you're only constantly thinking, how can I do so that I can get Swami's attention? Just like, every gopi or in the Brindavan, every gopi wanted to look beautiful. Why? Because you want Krishna to notice. Every gopi wanted to dance beautifully. Why? So that Krishna will dance with me. Every gopi wanted to sing beautifully. Why? Because, I'll get a chance to sing for Krishna. Every gopi wanted to create butter. Why? Maybe Krishna will have that butter. So you want to be best at what you're doing so that one day God will accept your art. Maybe God will be with you. So everything in a hostel, that's the most beautiful thing about hostel. And I think, of course, it is true everywhere. But in hostel, that atmosphere, as a youngster, it's so overpowering, that whatever you do, just do it because you want Swami. Because Swami was in the physical form, then you want Swami's physical attention. And so everything you did a garden in the hostel, we'll invite Swami. We did a project, our silly little project in my 11th class, for every subject, our silly science project, maths project, you go and offer it to Swami. Do it well, so you'll give it to Swami. So everything you did, a new door got opened in the hostel, you can call Swami. So everything was, do it for Swami, do it for Swami. And so that was the ambience, in the hostel. So, and growing up in that ambience, now praying every day to Swami, So, I mean, as a child, I had known that, you can get God only through prayer. So that's what I was trying. So I thought, okay, only thing you can do, you have to pray to Swami. So, and that's what the teacher told me. I went to the teacher, I told, sir, music teacher, I told, sir, I want to sing. He said, simple, go and ask Swami. So obviously, so what do you do? So, so you start praying. And I was praying, but nothing was happening. So much every day I would I would write letters, I would pray, but nothing. Swami was not looking at me, he was not giving me any attention. And the whole of 11th class went that way, and 12th began, and still I am nowhere, and prayers are continuing. I remember there was a period of time I skipped breakfast in my stupid, Josh, that's some way to get attention. And I realized that's not what Swami wants. And so, anyway, so I started praying and praying and praying, but there was no response from Bhagwan. And it came to a point where, I just felt, is he really listening? If he was really listening, he would have done something. How can he be so heartless? Every day I'm praying. Morning till night I'm praying. Every day. How much I'm pining for him. I'm a little fellow in 11th class. He doesn't have this much mercy. Can he not see how much I'm crying for him? And in those days, I was really crying. I mean, there came a point where, I would go to bhajan starts, and I would just put my head into, I would just lift my knees, and I would duck my head into the knees, and I would just cry, because I felt like, what else should I do? How much? There were times when, I was not able to even eat, because I would, when I was begun to eat, and again, I would just think of him, and nothing has happened, and again, just tears would flow. So it was a very intense period of prayer, and nothing was happening. And I just felt that, nothing is going to happen. I know I'm not handsome. I know I'm not, I don't have any sacred lineage. I'm not rich. I'm not this. So he's never going to talk to me. So there is no point. There's absolutely no point. Because if he really had a heart, by now something would have touched. I'm going to bhajan hall. He's sitting right in front of me. I'm sitting in the 10 rows away. Can he not feel? Anybody, if he has even little compassion in their hearts, they would have melted by now. He doesn't have even 0.00001% of compassion. That was the kind of feeling at that time. And I remember one day I was so depressed. I thought, nothing is happening. and I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. And I remember the wing teacher, so in the hostel, for every section of the hostel, you have a teacher. So this teacher came, and and those teachers are like gods. Let me tell you, I mean, the hostel teachers, they live the life that Swami wants us to live. And so that teacher saw me sad, and he came to me and he asked, what happened? Why are you like this? And I just poured my heart out. I said, nothing is happening. And I don't think Swami cares for me. And I don't know what is my future. So he said, I'll tell you to do something. Will you do? I said, okay, sir. Do these 3 things. He said, I know you are praying, but never stop. Continue to pray. Increase the intensity of your prayers. Don't think he's not listening. Don't give up. Continue to pray. I said, okay, sir. Second, write letters, and every time when Bhagwan is coming, you rise and try to give your letter. Make it a point to every time give a letter to Swami. I said, okay, sir. And third, follow all the hostel discipline scrupulously. I was following. Said, Swami loves those who follow the hostel discipline. I said, okay, sir. So while I was doing most of the things, I was not like every day giving letters to Swami, but I was praying. I was being a good boy. But still, those words of the teacher helped. And one thing I started doing from then on is every day I would go to Mandir with this little piece of paper. So every day I would write something. It was not an elaborate letter. I would just, just be a tiny piece of paper, and I would write something sweet. Swami, I love you. Swami, I want you. Swami, talk to me. Something like that. Just 1 or 2 lines. And so the whole idea was, every time when Swami comes, I need to open and show it to him. Please read what I have written. Do something. How can you be so heartless? So, I mean, so that was kind of the mode then my mind was in. And so I did that. And the interesting thing was, so as a little fellow, you could take liberties at that point in time. You can, like jumpies, monkeys, you can jump when Swami, after the darshan, after the Swami gives interview, Swami would come take a round around the students, if there is time before bhajans, and or sometimes you take a round in the portico. In those days we would sit all over, and so Swami can come any direction, anytime. And so I was ready every single day with a letter. And uh, and I never missed the chance to get up. Every time he came, I would get up, and I would sneak my self into the vantage points, or into the first row somehow. The seniors won't mind if a little fellow does all this mischief. And so somehow, you tried to get Swami's attention, and I started doing that, and Swami started responding. But but I just felt that he was not serious, because I would get up and tell Swami, Swami, I want to sing. And he would look at me and he'd say, you want to sing? Oh, you want to dance? Ah, you dance here. There's so much space in between. You dance here. Good, good. Dance karo. So he would make. And I felt, come on, he's just making fun of me. I'm asking so seriously, I want to sing. And then another day, I would get up and say, oh, marriage. You want marriage? Why you want marriage? The young boy is asking for marriage. So he would just say so many things which did not, I felt he was just not answering my prayer. He's just saying some random things. And he just, he's not doing anything for me that I want. And it was just going like that. And days passed, and it came to a point where I felt there is absolutely no use. He doesn't know that I'm praying. if he really had any inkling that I was praying, he would not be behaving this way. And I have prayed enough. I cannot cry anymore. I'm done. Fine. I'll live here however he wants me to live, and we'll see what life brings. But there is no point praying anymore. I'm not going to do anything. And I can't change myself. I am what I am. I can't change my looks. I can't change my ancestry. I can't do anything. So that's it. So I almost was in that stage of, I almost gave up. I said, no point praying. And this came to a point where, why should I take these letters? So that Josh to go to Mandir, why should you shave? There's no need. Anyway, whether you're there or not doesn't matter. He's not going to look at you. He's not bothered about you. Whether you shave, don't shave, whether you wear good clothes, don't clothes. How does it matter? You are as good as the Kadapa slab there. Fine, leave it. And that's how, so that was the phase when I just go to Mandir and disinterested, just sit. And it was sometime in the month of February, I remember. That day, Swami came out of the interview room. The interview ended very early that day. Swami had a lot of time before bhajans. And as he came out of the interview room, he started walking down. So he came down to the portico, came down, the different blocks where students were seated, and he actually went down. He walked. He went almost near the Rama statue. He had a lot of time, and he went, and he was blessing people. And I was not even sitting in any vantage position because I had given up. So I didn't shave also that day, and Swami was coming back after big round. He was returning, and because it was the time when suddenly Swami came out, so some boys were not there. Some boys probably had gone for drinking water or whatever. So there were some gaps here and there, and I still didn't bother to go and see if I can get a vantage position anywhere. It was okay. But it just happened, the way everybody started moving because Swami started coming that way, that I was pushed, and I just found myself sitting in one of the first rows there. And so okay, so I was just sitting there, and Swami was returning, coming back from the Rama statue to the mandir. And as he was walking and from far, it seemed like he was looking in my direction, and I just felt, no, it can't be me. I mean, I am not that star. It won't be me. So I was just seeing, who is that handsome fellow next to me? Maybe somebody is talking to. Definitely, it cannot be me. So, but as I looked at him, he was constantly, his gaze was like fixed on me. And as he came closer and closer, when he was just 10 feet, then I felt, really, really, really he's looking at me. It seemed like, yes, yeah, he's looking at me. Oh my God, he's really looking at me. And he came straight to me. I couldn't believe that he was actually coming to me. And he came and he just stood in front of me, and I just got up. And the moment he looked into my eyes, he just waved his hand in huge circles. And I remember the way the crowd burst out in applause, because it was in front of everyone. And he created that beautiful chain, and he started slipping it onto my neck. And I just held him. He was trying to put it to my neck, and it was taking some time. So I just held him, and the dam broke, just crying and crying. Really, yes, he listens. Really, he heard me. I can't believe it. And I just kept crying and crying. I made his robe wet with my tears. And I just held on to him and just crying and crying. Swami had a tough time extricating himself from my clasp that evening. And as he was walking away, then suddenly I remembered, oh, you are praying for singing chance. Ask. So I said, Swami, I said, what? I want to sing. He said, yes. It was almost like, whatever you want. If you had told Swami, I want the moon, Swami, I want to live with you, I want your car, anything you would have given me, I think that day. And that was the kind of mood he was in. I said, yes, whatever. No problem. And I knew that what God seeks in you is that intensity with purity. He's not looking at your ability. He's not looking at your talent. He's not looking at your color. He's not looking at your beauty. He's not looking at your IQ. He's not looking at your ancestry. He's not looking at who is your father or a grandfather, or what can you do for the central trust. He is seeing how intense is your prayer and your purity. And that was, as I said, because it happened in my school days, in my 12th class, it left such an indelible impression on me that no matter what, he listens. He might take time, but he listens. And if anything moves him, it is only our intensity and purity. The purity and the intensity of our intensity is the only thing that will move him.
Brother Bishu, I know this is one of your experiences with Swami. And while you were narrating it, it reminded me so much of my first couple of trips to Puttaparthi, when, just like you, I would sit in the darshan line and give Swami letters. And the first two occasions, the first two trips, I felt ignored to the point where I felt that I was not deserving, that I had done something so wrong that Swami was not even calling me or talking to me. I felt I had not done enough. And there used to be guilt feelings coming forward, Swami, maybe I am not deserving. I don't have enough devotion. And I remember, just like you, intensifying my sadhana and praying more, because maybe I needed to increase my devotion to win his grace, to get a look. And that happened for the first two trips. And I really suffered inside intensely. I felt I really wasn't deserving of his grace and love until the third trip in 1983, when I got my first interview. So I could so identify with what you've just shared. And then I could imagine the joy, the happiness, the bliss that you would have felt when he came and stood in front of you and blessed you so bountifully. And I guess we will never know why and in what timing he does things. It is all in his hands. But as your teacher said, continue your devotion, continue your intensity, follow the rules of the hostels, continue to be disciplined, leave the results in Swami's hands. In his own timing, he will respond. What a very, very beautiful message for all of us. Sometimes we pray and we want instant results from Swami, but he knows the past, present, and future. We only seeing the now, so his reaction is different. So we have to be patient. We have to have the faith that whatever he's doing is in my best interest. But that should not dampen our enthusiasm of the prayers, the devotion, and the seva. So thank you so much for that beautiful, beautiful sharing. So many life lessons came out of them. Please continue.
So, so I mean, as a student, while there were so many life lessons, yes, but as a youngster, what you wanted instantly happened. You became a star in the hostel. As I said, suddenly it's like you have arrived. Everybody wants to know, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Right from PhD guys to PG guys to all the teachers to research scholars, everybody wants to know, who is this guy? Swami, it was no occasion. He did not sing. He did not play any instrument. He did nothing. And Swami, out of the blue, comes and he gives him a chain. And for what? Who is he? So it was, that way. Um, as I said, the moment when I announced myself to the hostel, and in fact, it became a joke that, you know what, if you want a chain from Swami, all you have to do is get up and say, Swami, I want to sing, and he'll give you a chain. That's how in our little minds we put our own pathways and our own algorithms, limited mind, mean thinking about trying to understand God. How can a fish ever try to understand the ocean? But we try to do. And so that's how my journey began with Bhagwan. So even though I had faith in Bhagwan, as I said, I came from a family where Swami was the only God in my life. But then connecting with him, knowing him and loving him, having your own relationship with him, all that started only when I started doing my own experiments with him, and then knowing that this is what will draw his grace to me. We have Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi will instantly give us what we want. You ask Google anything. Wi-Fi today will give us instantly what we want, whether it is good for us or not. But sci-fi, when we connect to him, will give us instantly what he wants, not what we want. He will give what he wants, and it will always be what is good for us. Wi-Fi gives us everything what we want. And many times, many things may be not be good for us. But here we have our connect with Swami. Every time you pray, every time you pine, every time you fondly think of him, sci-fi is on. He's listening. He is in touch with you through your heart. The heart string is vibrating. The heart wavelength, the heart connection is on. Sci-fi is on, and he will do whatever is good for us. And I think knowing that, trying to live up to that, is a very beautiful experience. Yes, as you mentioned, sometimes it will things will happen at his time, but when it happens, uh, it will happen so beautifully that we would have wanted it no other way. He will heighten the experience so much. He'll make it more so sweet, so cherishable, that we can never ever forget. When I look at this incident, he did it in a manner where instantly, I was everything that I wanted and more. I received. I didn't have to even go to the music teacher to tell that I want to sing. I There was a red carpet welcome for me. If Swami had done it inside the interview room, then I have to go and explain, no, sir, this is what Swami told me. Yes, he can sing. Then sir would have told, okay, no, let me go and check. Then I don't know what Swami would have told him. I'm just saying there could be so many dimensions, so many other ways this could have happened. But he did it in a manner that nobody had any doubts about what Swami means to me and the connection that he has with me. And for everybody, it was a puzzle because I was a nobody, absolutely a nobody. I remember before joining also as a student, that is another story. I will not go into that now, but I would always pray, that I should become a student. That was the only goal before I became a student. And I would always pray and cry to Swami saying, Swami, am I not a flower in your garden, Swami? Am I not a star in your sky? Why won't you give space to me also? Why won't I become part of your garden? And I would sing, तुम्हारी शरण बिना अनाथ है हम, तुम्हारी शरण बिना अनाथ है हम, दया करो भगवान, कृपा करो भगवान, नंद लाला नंद लाला, दया करो भगवान. This was the anthem for me before I became a student. This is how I used to pray. And I'm grateful to Swami that, he did make me a flower in his garden. I feel, yes, I am a flower in his garden, however tiny and how much ever little nectar I might have, but still, I am a flower in his garden. I am a star, however tiny I may be. Even if I'm able to give out little light, doesn't matter. But still, I am a star in his sky. And for a flower, the job is to give fragrance, and a star will give light. And that is what, by his grace, my life also should be doing. So, do you want me to go to the second story? It's already 7:30. Or do you want me to go to some other question?
No, share the second story.
Okay. So I'll keep it short. There are so many moments. Swami's grace, I had the chance once to go to Kodaikanal with him, the year 99. And As many of you know, Kodaikanal is such a blessed opportunity. You are literally living with Swami in the same house. So as soon as you wake up, you finish bath and you see Swami. And so he sends sessions with you um, before having breakfast. You have breakfast with Swami. After breakfast, then he'll go for darshan. He will send you for a walk. You come back after darshan. You spend time with Swami till there is the lunch is ready. You have lunch with Swami, and then you rest for a little while. Then before snacks, you have a session with Swami. You snack with Swami, and then have post snack session with Swami. Then there'll be evening program. Before that, you have a session with Swami. Evening program, you're with Swami. After the program, you're with Swami. You'd have dinner with Swami, and then you bid Swami mm, bye for the day, and you rest, and you wake up for another awesome Sai day. I mean, that's how Kodaikanal is. And so one afternoon, actually, in Kodaikanal, Swami's room would be in the first floor, and the students would be in the ground floor. Uh, the sessions in the ground floor would have some guests, but the sessions in the first floor would be just exclusive students, because we were staying in the first floor. Swami's room also was in the first floor. So as soon as Swami opens the door, you're the first person Swami would see, and Swami many times would spend some time there exclusively with students before coming down, where there would be other VIPs and women devotees and others. So one afternoon, when Swami came out of the room, and we were on the first floor, and suddenly Swami asked me, what are you studying? And I said, Swami, I'm doing my MBA. And he said, what do you want to do after that? And I said, Swami, whatever Swami says, I'll do, Swami. But in my mind also, as I said, I had never, even though I was doing MBA and I was, studying all the management principles, I never any time I visualized myself in any corporate boardroom or leading any company as a manager or a vice president. I never had any of such imagery in my mind. So when Swami asked what you want to do, I said, Swami, whatever you say. And Swami said, will you do PhD? I said, oh yes, Swami, if you want me to do PhD, I'll do. And I don't know what happened. He was so happy. He was so happy. He immediately waved his hand and he created a chain out of nowhere. He just come out of his room, afternoon. The session has hardly just begun. He's so happy when I said that I just want to be with you. So at that point in time, PhD meant that you're going to be here. That was sort of the moment Swami said you want PhD, and I said yes, Swami. It was almost like felt like Swami is very happy that I am happy to stay back or whatever. It just seemed like that. So I was so happy. I said, Swami, I'll do PhD. He was so happy. In fact, one of those afternoons, he asked me, do you know when you were born, your mother wanted a daughter? Because we are 3 brothers. And Swami said, not just you, when your second brother also was born, at that time also your parents wanted a daughter, but they got a son. And when you were born, they clearly wanted a daughter, but you were born. And this is something I think once my mom had told me that they wanted a daughter. Uh, and nobody in the world possibly had known anything about it. And so there were all these, such informal moments with Swami said, where am I? Where am I? I know. It happened 25, 30 years ago. I know. So that evening, that afternoon when Swami just created that a chain, the joy with which he created that chain, I just felt so happy, and it remains in my mind, because it was almost like, yeah, you're going to serve. You have decided to be here and serve for me. I'm so happy. Come, take this blessing, take this reward. And it just felt like to serve the Lord is the greatest grace that one can get. And to live for the Lord is the highest life that anyone can lead. And that happiness of Swami on that day stays in my mind as one of those very cherished moments, because I don't know what happened to him. He was so happy when I said that I'm going to be here and I'm going to serve. And this chance to serve definitely is a very cherished chance for me. I don't have the time to give you another story of how I got the chance and lost it. And again, I had to go through a lot of penance to get it back. That's a different story. But that remains as one of the sweet moments with Swami. And let me move on to another moment, which is after I got the chance to serve. Swami had given me the opportunity to work initially in the super specialty hospital in Whitefield. The Whitefield Hospital was just starting, and in fact, I was the first person appointed by Swami to work in the hospital. And in those days, given the initial work that goes into any new institution, there was tremendous workload, and I was part of the information systems department. So we were going to a Bangalore company to get trained in the system that was to be deployed there, and we were literally slogging from morning 7 till night 10, 11, 12. It was um, real hard work. Hospital is so huge, it'll tire you just walking from one corner of the hospital to another corner of the hospital, installing the systems, training the employees, training all the new people joining, bug fixing, creating manuals. I mean, there were hundreds of things to be done. And before the hospital started, and initially we were only two of us, and later Swami had 2, 3 more boys joining. And I was not an MTech, this was completely into systems, and but I was just an MBA. But for me, the additional work also involved learning software, learning coding, and all that. So it was, to cut it short, a very hectic period, tremendously hectic. And this whole process, I don't know how, I fell sick after the hospital was inaugurated. After probably 7, 8 months of the hospital inauguration, I suddenly fell sick. And of course, at that time, the hospital also did not, have the kind of facilities it had later on, in terms of canteen, the food facilities. That area of Bangalore also was there at that time, outskirts of Bangalore. Now it's proper Bangalore, but you didn't have good places to eat. And so there were a lot of these dynamics at that point in time, which probably could have contributed to my ill health. I don't know what, but I felt sick, and I felt so sick uh, that I was continuous fever. I was weak, etc., etc. It's a long story, but that period of the initial year of the hospital was truly a honeymoon period. Generally, when any institution starts, Swami would give it so much attention. And that's how it was. So Swami would, even though we were part of the Bangalore hospital, I was sad initially when Swami asked me to work in Bangalore hospital, because in my dreams, I'd always wished that I'll stay in Parthi, because it was for me that spending every day with the avatar, and where is he sending me to Bangalore? Why is he sending me to Bangalore? What's the point? I can come only on the weekends. And that was not how I had imagined my life. But then, when you tell Swami, I'm ready for anything, you have no choice there. I can't tell Swami, I don't want to give me this. So after I finished my MBA, and he said, what, this is what I want you to do. So there is nothing that you can do there. So you accept. And so, again, that's still, anyway, that is my Swami's hospital. So, and once the work started, you have no time for any of these emotions, just got lost in the work, and just looking for every weekend to come to Parthi. And the way Swami was showering his attention at that point in time, he really made up for everything that you lost. The moment he would see us, the moment he would spot us, he would call us into the interview room. And I remember days when I'm just walking out of the bus, I'm running from the bus stand, I'm running into the interview room. I mean, that is how eager Swami was to, to spend time with us. And if there was any distribution, if there was anything, he would remember us. He would keep things for us. He would keep sending us prasadam. He would keep sending us gifts, and constant inquiries about us. So it almost felt like, nothing is lost. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Swami is giving so much. And it was truly, as I said, that's why a very, very beautiful period of working for him. He was giving his all to all of us who were appointed by him at that time for the hospital. And if Swami came to Vrindavan, so you were more than the students getting opportunities. Every day Swami would ask, and all that was going on. So I was happy. And so one of these times when we had come to Parthi for darshan, and that day I was so sick, I just couldn't go for darshan. By that time, my parents had shifted to Parthi. That's another story. But we had a house. Swami had given them a room, so I had a place in the ashram, and so that evening I could not go for darshan. And so Swami asked that boy, who was appointed with me, whom Swami had asked to work in the hospital, where is your brother? And he said, Swami, he's not well. And since the message came to me that Swami was inquiring about you, that's how it was in that time. Swami did not say he would ask about you, where are you? So afternoon I went, so the next day I went, and Swami came to me and he asked, what happened? And I said, Swami, I'm having fever. And he checked my pulse and he touched me, and all that he did. And then he said, okay, you take rest. And from then on, it was another saga where Swami is constantly inquiring about me, about my health. The doctors are unable to diagnose what's my problem. And every day Swami is inquiring. Every day the doctor saying, Swami, we did this test, but it is not this, it is not this. And it was just going on and on and on. I was in the general hospital, and every day Swami would speak to the doctors and inquire about me. My fever continued to come. They didn't know what is the problem. I remember there was one doctor, very senior doctor, Swami loved to interact with him, Dr. Alreja. And after about 3-4 weeks of back and forth, Swami and doctors, and my fever not coming down and all that, Swami told Dr. Alreja the diagnosis. And Swami told, you start this medication. Clinically, they're not yet established the diagnosis. But Swami told, this is it. You start the medication. Start this. So Dr. Alreja started this medication. So I started that medication. And, so I was getting better, but still long way. And Swami was so concerned about me at that time. He would talk to every doctor about me. And there was one Dr. Bhatt, who's considered the father of urology in India, and he had set up the urology department in our super specialty hospital. Even though he was a father of urology, but he was a doyen of medicine and surgery. He was the one who started surgery in CMC Vellore, in the Vellore Hospital. Is one of those very, very respected figures in the Indian medical fraternity. And so Swami started inquiring with him about my health. And so Dr. Bhatt shifted me to super hospital because he can then take care of me. And again he started his battery of investigations, because he felt that we are doing these medications, but there is no clinical papers to substantiate what medication I was being given in the general hospital. And he felt, let's stop all the medication, let's first sort out, let's first get on paper what is the diagnosis. And so I remember, I mean, I was like a guinea pig. Every test that the hospital could do, I have gone through. It was the most harrowing time of my life, because I don't know what the doctors are not able to establish what is the problem. Fever continues to come every day, and but I was not weak, because every day Swami would send fruits, and Swami would keep sending words. Swami would still keep sending vibhuti. Swami would keep sending word that I should eat well. He would send apples, so I was eating well, but fever was still coming, and yeah, I was not fine. And so that continued, and in a way, it was a difficult time for my parents because they don't know what is happening to me. It was the worst of times because I was just going through so many tests. You won't believe I went through even bone marrow. I mean, from whatever all the tests that I've gone through, it was the most painful. I mean, that much pain if somebody can bear, because they inject you and they cannot give you anesthesia in the spine, and they drill a hole in your spine, and it is so harrowing, to say the least, to survive a bone marrow test. But I went through that, and I don't know how I managed. Still, they were not able to establish what is my problem. But the only good thing was, every day Swami was inquiring about me. Not a day passed in that first 6 months of my sickness. There was literally not a day when Swami did not inquire about me with my either brother or father or mother or the doctor. Everybody wanted to talk to me. Also, every doctor wanted to know my condition, because if they tell anything about me, Swami would listen to them. That is another way for them to get an opportunity to talk to Swami. Everybody was interested in my health. Everybody was interested in what was happening to me. And every day, and Swami was sending every now and then he will send vibhuti, every now and then he will send. So the kind of attention I got, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Sometimes it feels that, okay, if all it needs is this sickness to get this much attention, fine, so be it. So that's what, I don't know, it is the best of times in a way, also the worst of times, because I don't know what was happening to me and nobody's able to diagnose what is my problem. But Swami is giving so much attention. I think the kind of attention I got, I had not got in 7 years of my stay as a student. I didn't get that kind of attention from Swami. I really felt, what it really means to be a farm boy. I mean, that much love. Oh my God. I was really overwhelmed. And I never thought that, I'll ever be a recipient that dear to Swami. It was unthinkable, the kind of attention he showered at that time and concern he had. And the crowning moment of this concern, the pinnacle of this concern, one morning, as I am getting ready in the hospital room, somebody comes dashing and he said, keep everything tidy, keep everything clean, clear the space, be ready soon, Swami is going to come. I said, what? Are you mad? Swami is going to come to see me? Yes, 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 there is every chance Swami might come. He's been inquiring. Swami might come, Swami might come. And it was hardly half an hour, 1 hour after that. And I heard Swami is in the hospital. Swami has literally come to the hospital. I couldn't believe. Really, I mean, nobody. Why will he do that for me? I'm not Jogarao, or I'm not a Jogarao. I'm not. Who am I? Why should he come to see me in the hospital? But he did come. He did come. He did come to the hospital to see me. And when he came to the hospital, Swami he was just in his elements. He was just smiling and smiling. Though I was crying, everyone around me was just smiling because Swami said, what is this? What is the doctor? What is his fever? So Swami, it is 100. That fever is not fever. It is that thermometer. Thermometer is having fever. He is fine. There is no problem. What are you eating? Fruits. No, are you eating that? No, you should give him apples. You should give him this. Are all visitors disturbing? Put a board here. No visitors. Don't disturb him. And he was sitting there and he was cracking jokes about food, about temperature, about me. And as soon as he came, he created big, vibhuti, so much vibhuti. He blessed me. He put it on and he gave me vibhuti. I had it and he placed it all over. And he just sat there and he was just joking all the time. And I didn't know whether, there were tears. I think it was a mix. It was tears of joy and tears of pain because you didn't know how to respond. I can't believe that can't believe that I'm going through so much pain every day. Can't believe that he's really come to see me. Can't believe that, he will ever do this for me. Why? I am nobody for him to do this. But he did it. I'm literally nobody. My father studied under street lights to clear his graduation. There is nothing that I can do for Swami. But I meant something for him. And that moment remains as one very, very cherished moment in my life. You might think that you are nobody. There is nobody who is nobody for the Lord. If you have given your heart to him, if he means the world to you, you also mean the world to him. And he will go to any extent to elevate you, to bring that smile, to create you, recreate you, resurrect you. He will go to any extent. And that's what he did at that point in time. Later on, my father told me how he had gone to so many astrologers. Like every parent, in India, they get so concerned. And you're looking for any light from any corner because my illness was just not being diagnosed. So everybody was so worried. And my father told me how when he went to an astrologer, that guy said the time for him is so bad. Even God will not look at him during this period because he's going through a very difficult phase. The astrologer does not know. Even when the so-called gods don't look at you, your Sai will look after you. Your Sai will always be there. He will be there more with you when you are going through your life's toughest moments. in your worst times, you feel he has distanced himself from you. But truly, he has dedicated himself to you. We don't realize it. He never distances himself from anyone who has given his heart and told Swami, I belong to you. And he knows how to always fill our worst times with some of our best moments as well. In fact, he reserves his best for our worst times, so that our worst times don't seem that bad, and they also have some of our best moments. That's how beautifully he spreads our worst and best moments. And that scene of Swami in the hospital, that scene of Swami giggling away in the room, I'm in my hospital blue dress, and I'm seeing him only through the screen of my tears. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. And he's just laughing away and making the whole atmosphere so light, as if nothing has happened to me. Coming like a breeze, lifting everyone, lifting me, and holding me close to him, telling me, don't worry, I am carrying you. Nothing will happen. And that's how I came out of that illness. I will not go into that. That's a very long story. But that remains as one of my most precious moments, when I realized and experienced that my Swami is my Swami. He will do anything for me. If I need something, he will be there. If anything is needed in my life, he will provide it. There will never be anything which I lack. There will be no dearth in my life, because my Swami is with me. I think so. Those are the three moments. I'll stop there answering that question with the Faiz.
You know, listening to your experiences, the powerful feeling that comes through all of them, Brother Bishu, is Swami, the Divine Mother, who has the love of 1,000 mothers. And as you were narrating yours, it reminded me of one or two of his teachings about a mother, when he says, take one step towards me, I shall take 100 towards you. Shed one tear in my name, and I will wipe 100 from your eyes. Bring me the depths of your mind, no matter how grotesque, how cruelly ravaged by doubts or disappointments. I know how to treat them. for I am your mother, and I will never, never let you go. And that was so beautifully expressed in your experiences. It also reminded me of another saying of Swami. Do you think that I would confront you with pain were there not a reason for it? Open your heart to pain as you do now for pleasure, for it is my will wrought by me for your own good. And then also, Brother Bishu, what came through so powerfully through your experiences, that in the most painful moments of your life, in those very insurmountable challenges, Bhagwan was always with you, inquiring about you, visiting you, telling you that everything is going to be okay. So even though we go through some traumatic challenges in our life, we always have to remember that in those darkest moments, Swami, the mother Sai, is the light that will take us through those dark moments and bring us back into the light. So even in the pain, the challenges, the hurt, the sadness, the frustration, he is there with us to help us navigate it. And it was so beautifully brought out in your experiences, that very beautiful story. And I could well imagine, Brother Bishu, in fact, I can't imagine somebody taking a drill and drilling at the base of your spine without anesthetic. How painful that must have been for you. And it seems that almost every devotee, every student that I speak with and chat with, that they've all gone through tremendous challenges in their life. And many, many devotees feel that when you come into contact with Swami, life will be hunky-dory and you will always be living in peace and bliss. And the opposite sometimes happens to so many devotees. You know, when they go at the ashram, I remember this lady had so many bad experiences. The accommodation officer was very rough with her. The Sevadal pushed her around. Some monkeys came in her room and stole all of her belongings. And every conceivable wrong thing happened. And when she got an interview with Swami, she said, Swami, what kind of ashram is this? I feel that everything is going against me. I thought I would be feeling love and peace and unity, and the opposite is happening. I'm so frustrated. I'm going to leave now. And then Swami told her, if a diamond falls into a rubbish bin, will you leave it there? So, Brother Bishu, this is so, so powerful. So many beautiful life lessons that you have shared in these experiences. But the one that really stands out for me is that through thick and thin, through the greatest and darkest moments, know that God is there holding your hand. Even though you may not know it, you may not see it, you may not feel it, He's there guiding and guarding and protecting. And as you said, sometimes in our darkest moments comes our greatest joy, our greatest inner growth takes place. So thank you so much for that. So my next question, Brother Bishu, is what does Sai Baba mean to you today?
I am because he is. That's all I can say. He is the power. He is the source. He's the reason I exist. He's the reason why I breathe. He's the reason why I eat, the reason why I live. Existence is because of him. So, what is he to me? He is my existence. That's all. But at the same time, one thing that I've seen, which I realized over time, as I was telling you in the early years, I used to think, oh, Swami favors this person, Swami favors that person, Swami, oh, this person is rich, this person is good looking, all those silly thoughts in the student days. As, you evolved and saw Swami and did your experiments with Swami, then you realize that Swami is nothing but, he's just purity. He's just a pillar of absolute purity. He's just reaction, reflection, reason. Every person he reacts based on our purity, our level of thinking. So everything that happens, you cannot draw a pattern because every person is different and he's just reaction, the reflection, resound. The same card, drawing one lotus, I can take and he might be very happy and bless me. Tomorrow, the same card someone else might take and he might be very upset. And we cannot draw a pattern to it. You cannot draw a pattern to it. He's just purity. That's what I have seen. He's just, as Swami used to say, right, head top to toe, he's just that. It's just a pure consciousness, absolute pure consciousness, which is just purity at its zenith, purity in a human form. So, yeah. And that purity is what? It is just pure love. If someone is pure, there will be only love inside. So he is just that pure love. That's it.
Thank you very much for sharing. I remember Frank G. Baranowski,
Yeah.
when he measured the aura of Swami, he did say that I'm risking my reputation as a scientist. But when I looked at Sai Baba, it was as if love was walking on 2 feet. So, Brother Bishu, why is it important and spiritually beneficial to Sai devotees or spiritual aspirants to remain connected to the physical Prashanti Nilayam?
Why Prashanti Nilayam? I feel just give yourself a few moments to think, what is Prashanti Nilayam? To me, Prashanti Nilayam is the most love-charged place on the planet. Can there be a place more pure love charged than Prashanti Nilayam? The Sannidhi, where we go and offer our pranams. That is where he sat, he stood decade after decade. Many years ago, he had told Ratnalal Amma, there will come a time. He had told Ratnalal Amma that, I will sleep and give darshan. And because this was in the 70s and 80s, Ratnalal Amma thought, what is this Swami saying? I'll sleep and give darshan. Swami, kya bol rahe ho? What are you saying, Swami? You will walk and give darshan, stand and give darshan. But I will sleep and give darshan. Why will you sleep, Swami? But that is what is Prashanti Nilayam. That is what is Sanctum Sanctorum of Prashanti Nilayam. And that is the reason why everybody who comes to Prashanti Nilayam feels that power. 2012, Bhagwan had left. There was the state president of Maharashtra. He was just finishing his service. 2 more days were left. And he get this call from home that his daughter-in-law has suddenly gone for labor. It was uh, earlier than expected as per the schedule, and she's gone into labor, and the child is not safe, and the child born is critical, meaning there is no hope. And so they were asking to come back for this emergency in the family. And this person thought, anyway, the child is critical, perhaps not there. I have 2 more days to serve. It will take me 2 more days to go in train. As well, I'll finish my service. Anyway, I can go only after 2 days. Whether I go back after 2 days or after 4 days, what difference does it make? I'll finish my service and I'll go home. And he finishes the seva. And when every group completes the seva, they give vibhuti packets and to every devotee. So he was going to the Sannidhi and to take namaskar. And as he was prostrating at Bhagwan's Sannidhi, one vibhuti packet that he was holding just fell on the Sannidhi. So it happened quite unconsciously, involuntarily. So he just picked up that vibhuti packet, and he felt it's a blessing from Swami, maybe for the baby. And as he was getting up to leave, in those days, this is immediately after Bhagwan left, right? So you could touch the samadhi, you could place your head at the samadhi, you could do everything actually in those days. And there were a lot of flowers. People could place flowers at the Sannidhi. And so one Sevadal, for some strange reason, picked up one of the flowers at the Sannidhi and just gave it to him as he picked up the vibhuti. So he just took this vibhuti and this flower and he went home. He went straight to the hospital as soon as he got down from the train, and went to the hospital, went to the place where the baby was. The baby was already declared dead, and he placed this vibhuti on the baby's forehead, and he took this flower, placed it on the baby's cradle. The moment he placed the flower, the baby started crying. We know so many stories when Swami was here, and somebody would tell Swami, this is what is happening. Swami would create vibhuti, and Swami would give, and miracles would happen. We know so many instances when Swami would be just sitting. I remember in 2006, 2007, Swami had stopped giving interviews. And I used to think, oh my God, now Swami is not giving interviews. Why will people come? Why will, how will Swami, all these VVIPs, Swami was giving them interviews. So that's why a lot of, if interview happens, then Swami will create something and Swami will tell them their past. And that's how Swami would, capture them and all that. Now Swami doesn't give interviews, and how it is going to, in my own little mind, I thought, how is this going to happen now? It's not, how will, more people come? How will get attracted if Swami doesn't give? In my own little mind, I was thinking like that, and that's when I realized, all he needs to do is just come. If he came and he sat, that was enough. So I would, those in 2006 onwards, he stopped giving interviews. He would just only sit. Vedam would go on. So hours. Bhajans would go on. By the time it was 2007, 2008, there was no half an hour bhajans. Every day was a Akhand bhajan. Someday it was 1 hour bhajan, someday 1.5 hour bhajan, someday 2 hour bhajan. Someday he came out at 8 o'clock. You started bhajans at 6 o'clock, it went on. So bhajan stopped only when he came. Of course, by the time in 2010, we reached a stage where, some days we have to even stop the bhajan. He did not come at all. But, so in the last 5, 6 years, he just came and he sat. That's it. No interviews, no more talking. He's just sitting there, but still all those things are happening. Somebody sitting at the 100th row just starts crying. He sees Swami and just starts crying. And something within just breaks. And that person, he doesn't know why he's crying, but he's just crying. And at the end of the bhajan session, he's a different person. How it happened, why it happened. When I started doing stories for Heart to Heart, that's when I saw all these stories. My God, there are not stories only from people who had interviews or who spoke to Swami. Everybody's having a story. Whether Swami touched you and took your letter, or whether you're sitting in the 100th row, or whether you're sitting in the 200th row, or you're sitting at the last row, when darshan happened, everybody is being touched. And it is not only them who is sitting there. Everybody everywhere is having a story. And that continues. But the power of Prashanti Nilayam is that power of we being in his presence. How when Bhagwan was there, we long to be in his presence, because that power is something else, right? That power is something else. To actually see him, touch him, feel him. It is like there is, as Swami says, from the cow, you get milk. The cow is sacred, but the udder is the most sacred, because from that's where you get the milk, right? The cow is divine, but the milk will come only from the udder. So I think Prashanti is that space which will help us to accelerate in our spiritual progress. Whenever we have some slackness in our growth, whenever we feel to be connected, whenever we want to feel him more. Yes, as Swami used to say at that time, there's a workshop, it continues to be that workshop. If you want to feel him strongly, there is no other place that can create that ambience with that much of intensity. No matter how sacred is your place, you're doing bhajans every day there, you're doing in your bedroom, that's fine. But this is a place where he sat, he walked, he rocked in this place. And he lives here, he breathes here. And this is the air that he allowed his body to go in. And this is that air, this is that land where he walked and he touched. So I think there is no place on earth which is more precious, more love charged, more pious for us to sanctify ourselves, to help us in our spiritual journey, to facilitate our connect with him to become stronger. Swami, when Prashanti Nilayam was inaugurated, Swami said, anybody who stays in Prashanti Nilayam and undertakes any sadhana with sincerity, I will give that person the mind of a newborn child. Swami said, I will give that person that purity. And it will take them out of the cycle of birth and death. Putta is to be born, Parti is complete. Puttaparthi will give you that blessing of coming out of the cycle of birth and death, being blessed with the purity of a newborn. That is what Prashanti can do. Yes, it is not easy. The journey has its own challenges, and challenges are meant to be there. And it is those challenges which really help us to rise. It is these challenges which help us to taste his love, and we should welcome those challenges. But Prashanti is that which will give you that permanent peace. Prashanti is permanent peace. It is not just Shanti. Yes, it will go through some struggle, but it is leading you for something that is anything that is worthwhile in the world needs some effort. Anything that can be got very easy is not of much value. But you want the highest. We want the highest. We want the highest peace. We want the highest happiness. We want the lasting, everlasting happiness of that. So for that also we have to put some effort. It doesn't come easy, but Prashanti helps you. It bolsters you. It gives you that energy. It gives you that stamina. It gives you that equanimity. It gives you that tenacity. And we should absorb that when we are here as much as we can. Just like when Swami was there, Swami would say, right, after darshan, keep quiet. Don't talk, because the energy from me is going to you. And if you talk, it will get dissipated. Conserve that energy from me and use it for your spiritual growth. I think that's what we should do. Come to Prashanti, be in this environment, feel and capture as much as we can of this vibe, and take this Prashanti vibe with us. Let this fill our beings. Let this surcharge us, and let this help us to march ahead in our journey to Him with energy, with joy, with enthusiasm, with never-ending zeal and happiness.
Thank you, brother Bishu. That was so beautiful, and so much benefits can accrue to the spiritual aspirant by visiting Prashanti Nilayam, and you have identified so many of them. And I remember the students saying that Swami had told them, this is your home, and you must always come back and visit. So he has always recommended that you must come back to Prashanti Nilayam, recharge your spiritual batteries, and then go back out into the world to do your duty with love.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's a common experience. How many times have you heard people saying it feels like home? It's very strange. We had Christmas celebrations recently, and I am meeting people who have come to the ashram for the first time. I remember talking to this couple. They have come for the first time from California to the ashram, and I'm asking, how does it feel? And they're saying it feels like home. What is it that a Russian youngster who just come to explore the place, and he says, I feel it's like home. What is it that somebody from Zambia comes and says that I feel I'm at home? What is it that somebody from Iran and somebody from Canada feels that this is where I belong? So I think that is the magic of the place, and the magic of the place has only increased and will only increase. Nothing will ever diminish in a place like Prashanti, because Swami himself had said this will become another Tirupati, another Kashi, another, we don't know what. So with time, the number of people who don't know Swami and who are exploring Swami are only increasing. The people who have had opportunities with Swami, that's a microscopic minority. So there are more and more people discovering him, and there are more and more people now delighting in discovering him, and now making their life delicious with his presence. So that is only increasing now. And that will only increase, because as more and more people discover, more and more people will feel, wow, why did I not have this? This is the experience that is happening in the hostel, in the students. They have not seen Swami, and this number is only increasing, and this number can only go northward, and so I don't know. I feel one day the glory of this place will explode. I don't know when. Swami is containing it. But what we definitely can see, which is obvious to the eyes, is it's only increasing. It will only increase, because it is His glory. and his glory is the only thing which has no end. Absolutely.
Very, very beautiful. And I remember recently looking at some of those interviews, those little snippets of devotees sharing their experience of Christmas, brother. And I remember one devotee saying, I don't need to go to any other temple.
Yeah.
Because what I feel here in Prashanti Nilayam fills me so much. I don't need to go anywhere else. And as you said, people coming for the first time felt so much of love and bliss and as if they were experiencing the true Christmas in the time of Christ.
Yes. Yeah.
And I remember Swami said, nowhere in the world is Christmas celebrated as it should be than in Prashanti Nilayam, because I remember he saying that the Hindus will celebrate Shivarathri, the Muslims will celebrate Eid, but you have Muslims, Christians, Hindus from all over will come and celebrate Christmas in Prashanti Nilayam. Nowhere in the world is it celebrated in this way, with the coming together in unity and love. So, Brother Bishu, very soon we will be celebrating Mahashivaratri. I believe it's somewhere around the 18th of February.
Yeah.
And you have been in Prashanti Nilayam for so many years. You would have been there for many, many Shivaratris, and I'm sure you would have also witnessed Swami bringing out that Shiva Lingam on many Mahashivaratri nights.
Yeah.
So my question is, what is the inner significance and meaning of the Shiva Lingam and Swami bringing it forth from within his body on so many Mahashivaratri occasions? I remember someone saying, or Swami saying, that those who physically witness him bringing out that Shiva Lingam will no more take birth. Can you share the spiritual benefits of this particular happening?
Yeah, surely. When we talk about the linga, in my mind, the imagery of the linga is the spherical oval linga that Swami used to materialize. In Shivarathri, of course, it came from his being, but on various other occasions, Swami would materialize the linga. And just like Om is the sound that represents God, if there is one sound that signifies God, that is Om. That is the sound of the cosmos, that is the sound of the universe, and that is the sound of God. Similarly, if there is one symbol that represents the divine, it is the Lingam, which is oval. And a spherical oval object, egg-shaped object, has no beginning, has no end. Adi Madhyanta Rahita, as Swami would say, no middle. So you don't know where it starts and where it ends. As I say, God is like a circle with its center everywhere and circumference nowhere. He is a puzzle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. And that is what God is. And a lingam represents that principle of the divine. When you look at it, it represents microcosm and macrocosm. In the universe, everything is spherical. The orbits of the planets are spherical. The nucleus in every cell also goes around the spherical orbits. So to me, it is just that symbol of that cosmos. And the supreme cosmic consciousness, when he takes a human form, on Shivratri nights, Swami was taking that trouble and pain to create a symbol of that cosmic consciousness, which is at the basis of the entire creation, which connotes the entire creation. One, Swami was letting us know who we truly are. Swami would always tell us that Bangaru, Bangaru, you are gold, you are gold. So here is God telling us, you are truly gold. All you have to do is to refine yourself, purify yourself. If you can purify yourself, you can truly become that gold. Hiranyagarbha, as it is said, that Lingam is, Swami said Hiranyagarbha. Because his body was so pure, he could concretize the pure essence of his body into molten metal in the form of gold and bring it forth and show it to us. It is not for anything that Swami was, telling us, Bangaru, Bangaru. We are also gold. If we are that pure, we will realize the gold that is there within us. It is the same human body. It is just that he was absolutely pure. And as Swami said, once in a while, God has to do these spectacular events just to shake and awaken mankind. Otherwise, mankind steeped in their ignorance, is unable to realize in whose presence they are in. So when a Lingodhvam happens, when a Vibhuti Abhishekam happens, then you're just shocked. And you realize, oh my God, this is whom I am dealing with. And what am I doing? So there were so many dimensions to the Lingodbhavam. And Swami himself had, mentioned that he is Shiva Shakti Swarupa. So on his birthplace, you have a Shivalayam at Swami's birthplace. And when you looked at the Vibhuti Abhishekam that Swami did, again, that pot was nothing. He put his hand, and from there, Vibhuti flowed torrentially. Once Swami showed his hand and asked, what is there? What is there? And everybody said, it's nothing. Swami said, this nothing is everything. In the world, you think is everything. The world is nothing. This nothing. God, it seems nothing, but this nothing is everything. The world might seem everything, but the world is nothing. Man pretends to know everything, but he knows nothing. God knows everything, but he pretends as if he knows nothing. And that's what we have seen, how innocent Swami at times was. So the Lingodbhavam, I feel, was that moment of awareness, that moment of reckoning for all of us to know what he has invested us with and how, if we cleanse ourselves, if we purify ourselves, how we can harness that power that he has given each one of us. How we can truly become that gold that he wants us to become. And how we should never take the divine for granted. Never take any moment with the divine lightly. every moment with the divine can resurrect you. And when Swami said that, you will not have rebirth, because it was that cosmic act of the pure consciousness bringing forth symbol of his creation. He is like creator bringing out creation. That Lingam was emblematic of creation. Just like the whole universe came out of the Lord with his one word, here was the cosmic consciousness doing an act of that kind of creation in a miniature form, in a form that we can understand, appreciate, and see and enjoy and realize. I think that's why it's a very, very significant event. And Shivratri is that moment when, as Swami said, our minds are easier to conquer, should use the time to suffuse ourselves with him so much, because in these nights to connect with him is easier. It's almost like there are no disturbances in the sci-fi connect that we have during Shivratri. The lines are clear. You have thick sideband, broadband, and so I think we should use the Shivratri to cleanse ourselves so that we too become the gold that he wants us to become, the Bangaru that he wants us to become.
Thank you, Brother Bishu. That was very beautiful and so beneficial to listen to the explanation of what the Shiva Lingam symbolizes. And I remember Swami saying that also Mahashivaratri falls on the darkest night of the year. And as you were saying, the moon has little or no effect on the mind. And if the devotee can really observe it with sincerity, with love and devotion, you can conquer the mind on that particular night. So, Brother Bishu, I'm going to paraphrase the next question in words.
Do we have time? Sorry.
Yes, we have time. I'm going to paraphrase the next question as to how I understood it when it was told to me by one of the students.
Okay.
But I think the more important thing is what Swami said at the end. So in an interview with some students, Swami started a conversation and asked some questions.
Okay.
Swami asked the students, do you love Swami? They all said, yes, yes, Swami, we love you. Do you have faith in Swami? Yes, yes, Swami, we have total faith in you. Will you do anything that Swami asks? And they said, yes, Swami, unhesitatingly we will do. Will you follow anything that Swami tells you to do? And they said, yes, yes, Swami, we will do. And then Swami said, I am telling you, you are God. And the reaction of the students suggested a bit of doubt and uncertainty about that particular statement or belief in it. So Baba says, I am God, but you are God also. The only difference is I know that I am God, whereas you are work in progress. So can you discuss this particular statement of Swami? Because many, many people, many of us, we don't really truly believe that we are God. We say we have faith in Swami, we believe him, we will do anything. But when he tells us we are God, doubts arises. How can I be God? How can I be this omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent consciousness? So can you discuss why it is or what it is that prevents us then from believing and knowing that we are divine, even though God Himself is telling us, embodiments of divine Atma, you are potential avatars, you are gods in human form.
I think we get all these doubts and all these apprehensions and confusions because in our mind, God means the one who's all powerful, who can create anything, who can do anything, who can change anything, who can appear anywhere, who can make things disappear. We associate God more often when we have such conversations or discussions as someone who is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, the most supreme power of the universe. Yes, that is what God is. But I feel, as Swami himself said, my greatest treasure, my greatest weapon, my greatest power is my love. We feel intimidated and hard to believe when someone says you are God. We say, no, I don't have any power. What do you mean, God? I can't do anything. I'm nobody. But when Swami said you are also God, he was telling you can also love. God is nothing but love. God is nothing but pure love. God is nothing but a colossus of pure love which is unconditional. God is nothing but a inexhaustible reservoir of pure love that is selfless. God is nothing that except this unending river of pure love that is ever willing to embrace anyone and take them to become one with the ocean. I feel that is what Swami wanted us to do. Become that love. And he's saying, you are also God. We need to believe that, yes, I am that love. I can also love people, just like God loved. I can also love people selflessly. I can also love unconditionally. I can also love without reservations. All the powers that God has came from love. Everything has its basis in love. There's no power greater than love. And I feel when he said, you are also God, he was telling us to believe that we too can love like him. We too can be more selfless, more unconditional, more giving, more sacrificing, more egoless, more identifying with everyone around us. I think if we do this, other things will happen automatically. When someone is telling that you are loved, why do we deny it? No need for us to deny it. We want to be loved, isn't it? Who does not want love? We want to be loved and we want to love. Swami is telling it is not just that you want to love and you want to be loved. You become that love. You are truly that love. And I think That is all we need to remember and internalize. And Swami says, you are God. Yes, Swami, I am love. Because God is love. Love is God. I am love, and I will become the love that you want me to be. I think that should be our prayer.
Thank you very much, Brother Vishu. That was so beautiful. Very, very, very inspiring. From that angle that you explained it from, that God is love and we are love and we can manifest that unconditionally. My final question, Brother Bishu, you have been in the immediate physical presence of Swami for so many years, as we said before. You've been in close proximity with him. You've had many wonderful interviews and interactions with him. But on that day, when you found out the news that Swami transitioned from the form to the formless, what was your initial reaction and feeling? And how have you navigated since then to come to terms with Swami transitioning into the formless? Many, many devotees all over the world and students have reacted differently. I remember when I heard the news, I broke down and I cried incessantly. And up to now, I still can't come to terms with that particular happening. Logically, I understand it, but internally and knowing inside, it is still something that I'm working on. Having had the opportunity to touch him, to talk to him, touch his feet, to have conversation. So how have you navigated this particular situation?
Frankly, like everyone else, I also did not believe that this is going to happen. In fact, when I heard the news on April 24th, I just told myself it's not going to happen. It's not happening. He'll come back. It's a story. Uh, it's not true, and it's just a drama. And I never believed it. Uh, I actually cried only on 27th when his body was actually put lowered into that sacred pit, which is now the Sanctum Sanctorum. Until that moment, I thought uh, anytime he's going to come, it's not it's not true, just a drama. And of course, when I started crying, it was uncontrollable. And those questions, what am I doing here now? Usually not here. See, everyone had two worlds, but I had only one world. If someone else was not in Parthi, somebody was living in Trinidad, living in California, living in Chennai or Bangalore, you sometimes came to Parthi, and at other times you were at your home and you were praying. You had two worlds, but I had only one world. I didn't have another world. My world was to every day wake up and to see him, begin my day, and to see him and end my day. That's the that's the world that I had dreamt, and that's the world I was used to. I didn't know a world beyond that. And so just crying and yeah, like everyone else. How did it happen? And but how long will you cry? And I remember having this internal conversation with Swami. And Swami is telling, why are you crying? I'm telling Swami, you're not there. Come on, I miss you. I love you. That's why I'm crying. And Swami is saying, you love me? If you really love me, if you really love me, live for me. If you really say that you love me, can you lead that life of absolute purity, doing my work? Can you lead that life? When people look at you, they think of me. Can you lead a life that talks about my love? If you love me, live for me. And I'm still crying. And I'm telling Swami, but how can I do it? I was able, and when you were there, you were the strength. I was looking at you. That's what gave me the strength. Now you're not there. How can I do it? And Swami said, can you not feel me? Yes, I mean, I can feel you. Can you not feel my warmth? Can you not feel my presence? Can you not feel my strength? Do you think I'm not there? Live for me. You always wanted to see the unfolding of my mission. You will see, believe me. You will witness the unfolding of my mission. I want you to experience that. Make your life as pure and transparent as mine. When people see you, let them think of me. That is what will make me proud, not your tears. Your tears will only make me sad. What's the point of you crying? It does not give me any happiness. Lead that life if you say you love me. That will make me proud. This is, in fact, the most profound moment of your life. This is what will turn you into gold. Don't lose this chance. Hold on to me more strongly than ever before. Know that I am watching you every second. I am carrying you. Haven't I taken care of you? Haven't I given you enough? Yes, Swami, you have. You have given more than I deserve. Truly have given more than I deserve. So now, deserve everything that I had given you. And to deserve everything that I have given you, you have to remove D and E from serve. Remove E, ego. Remove D, desires. And just serve. Deserve everything I have given you. And you will feel me more stronger than ever before. If you love me, live for me. And that is how I continue to stay in Prashanti, happily serving him and telling him, I give myself to you, O Sai. I give myself to you, so you can use me. All my plans, all my dreams, Lord, I place them in your hand. I give myself to you, O Son. I give myself to you, so you can use me. I give myself to you, so you can use me. Use me to glorify you. Use me to serve you. Use me to love you more than ever before. Sarah.
Thank you, Brother Bishu. That was very touching, inspiring, and soulful. And I want to tell you that exactly what you said, Swami told you to do, you're doing. Because here, and I could only speak for what I know of devotees in the West Indies and especially in Trinidad and other parts of the world, that through Radio Sai and now Sri Satya Sai Media Center, the programs that you all have done and continue to do have awakened, inspired, and united so many devotees across the globe to awaken that inherent divinity and express it in divine love and selfless service. So know that you and the others are really fulfilling that message you've just spoken. So the Sri Satya Sai Global Council of Trinidad and Tobago would like to express gratitude and appreciation to you for taking the time to share your personal journey, your transformation, and your perspective on Swami's teachings. May Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba continue to bless and guide you. May you continue to be the loving instrument you are as his mission unfolds. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you so much, Sarah.